Hi Aquarius, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aquarius, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you and which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So remember, these are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and also if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves ya, and if you are new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit that subscribe button. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Hanged Man, right? You are being encouraged, my dear Aquarius. There's been a few double ups this week. You're being encouraged this week to take it easy, right? And this doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means reassess, reevaluate, really take a moment to think about where you want to take everything, how you want things to happen, and more importantly, where you really are in control. You're going to be hearing that word moving forward a hell of a lot when we come into 2024 and beyond, because Pluto will be coming back into the sign of Aquarius. So I think this week really feels like you're starting to understand what you need to adapt, what needs to be reassessed, reevaluated, and in all of these different areas of life, you're starting to really understand what you need to do in order to create the life that you are looking for or seeking. The other thing with the Hanged Man as well, it does say that sometimes things are not necessarily in your control, and it's like sometimes also the best way to get to your destination is sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing. All right, now for your actions and options, you have the Three of Swords. You've got this with the Hanged Man. You are being encouraged here. If there is some kind of loss, removal, some kind of heartache or something that you're needing to release, the message is to let it go. Whether this is a friendship, whether it's a partnership, whether it's a business deal, whether it's a job, it's like this week there's going to be something that comes up. Interestingly enough, there's a South Node eclipse at the end of this week. There's going to be something that comes up that you will need to release, that you'll need to kind of let go of. And the message behind this, especially with the Hanged Man, is let it go, because in doing so, it will allow you to have the space that you need in order to put your focus where it needs to be to create what you're hoping to create. Now, in terms of the options that are available to you, the Three of Swords, there will be an invite this week. There'll be an invite for you to remove something or someone from your life. If you do, chances are you avoid the Tower. If you don't, you're going to cause, it's kind of like, I'm sure you've seen that meme where it says sometimes holding on to something too tightly ends up hurting you more. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Eight of Cups. All of these cards so far are about, releasing something, letting something go, a separation that hurts the heart. The Eight of Cups is about walking away, moving away from disappointment or releasing it, especially in terms of communications, which tells me there's going to be some kind of information that finds your ears this week that will, I don't think it's going to be a shock, if I'm completely honest with you. I don't think it will be shocking, but it's like when you hear it, it will be disappointing, because it will be like, you know what, I kind of knew that this was a possibility. I just didn't expect it, to actually be the case. Now, because it's the Eight of Cups, you will have two options here. You can go for the jugular, do the Aquarius thing, let rip with your words and all the rest of it, or you can bow out quietly and gracefully and keep your poise. And that will do so much more. I've said this previously, but sometimes just knowing what you could say is enough. Now, when it comes to your, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this does suggest for a select few of you that you might be putting your course on hold. It does suggest that maybe for a select few of you, you're taking a sabbatical from studies. Another way this could potentially show up as well is that you're walking away or letting go of a course altogether, some kind of study. it's possible you're freeing up time here in some way. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, this, I think, is going to be the week that decides whether you stay at the job that you're at or not. And I think by the end of this week, a lot of you will either have handed in your notice or marched into your boss and said, either promote me or I walk. Right, quite frankly, that's kind of how I feel it might go down. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, there's a move that you're making this week or are gearing up to make that might not make sense to anybody else around. To everyone else, you might seem like you're flailing in the water. Maybe you're going to make a hasty decision. Is it whatever, right? Let people think what they think. You know the truth of what you're doing, and that's where you need to stay. If you're retired and no longer working, this is potentially some challenging news about somebody's health. I don't think that they're passing, but I do feel like this will be, it's like, you know, when you find out one of your, like, oh gosh, I can't even remember how old I was when it happened, but I remember when the news of Christopher Reeve's, you know, he fell off the horse and he broke his neck. I was devastated. I mean, like, really, really, like, devastated. I loved that man. I loved him so much. And not just because he was Superman to me. Like, you know, I remember watching his films, just absolutely in awe of him. Like, I was obsessed. I really, really was. But it was just, you know, for everything that he stood for. And he was, to me, as I understood it growing up, he was like a true gentle giant. And when I heard of his accident, I was genuinely fucking heartbroken. This could, and I hope I'm wrong on this front, but you could hear of something like that. It's not that somebody's passed, but it will be news that, you know, like, this is going to affect that person's life for the rest of their life. And it will be hard news to hear, I'm sorry to say. For your, whoa, okay, so look, you've got a double hit of the Hanged Man here. So when it comes to love, relationships and partnerships, for a select few of you, you will likely be, for those of you that are partnered, married or in long-term commitments, for a select few of you, there's a chance that this week will be the week, it will be like the beginning of the end of a relationship, all right? There's no other way to say it than that. For those of you that are partnered and married in long-term commitments where that's not the case, the chances are here, whatever this news is around somebody else's health, you will have to intervene in some way, and it may put some of your plans on hold. For those of you that are single and looking to mingle, honestly, I feel like there's a chance that you do connect with or meet somebody, but you don't know who this person is. I'm just going to tell you that straight up. And it's not that I don't think you'd be wasting your time. I'm just saying, whatever or whoever you meet, that's not all of who they are, which, you know, you could say of anybody. What I mean here is this person has some skeletons, all right? And we've all got a past. We've all got a past. But this person has some skeletons, so I just want you to be wary. And for those of you that have recently gone through a breakup or a divorce or whatever, some news, some information is going to come to you this week. You can either use it as fuel for fire, or you can take it and be like, oh, poor me, this is awful, I can't believe it, this is another level of betrayal, and you can down tools and you can just kind of sit and wallow in that. You've got two options this week, right? And I don't say that to be callous. I say it because everything else suggests that you've got moves to make, and in order to make those moves, you're going to have to really kind of show up. Then you've got the Six of Pentacles when it comes to money and finances. First of all, be very wary of anyone throwing around the term should, give me, you owe me, whatever, like I want, I demand. One of my friends who is a mother, she always says to her kids, or she did when they were younger because they're grown now, when her daughter used to say to her, I want this, she used to say, I want, don't get. What do we say? And she, yeah, please, can I have? Right, that language changed real quick, right? And this kind of feels like that. So be mindful. I kind of feel like someone's going to try and strong arm money out of you this week, or, you know, well, you owe me this, or like, what? I don't owe you shit. quite frankly. If you're anything like me, this is one of the toxic traits that most Aquarians have. That fierce independence often translates into, I will never allow myself to be indebted to anybody else. And it usually comes from an experience where we've been stung. All right. So that's where my personal brand of toxicity comes in. Even in relationships, I very rarely let people do things for me or buy things for me. I have a bit of a thing around that, and it is something that I'm working on and through. Anywho, when it comes to your physical health and vitality, this, especially with the Hanged Man has been so active this week, as has the hormones. Everybody's hormones seem to be really all over the place, and I think I'm going to have to check in with an astrologer friend and just ask them, because there's something really weird going on, or really weird in the air. And I wonder if this is something that's happening on a global scale. Aquarius is the world, right? Because it represents the people. And this echoes what I've been seeing a lot in all of the cards that have come through. The hormonal system of everybody seems to be all over the place. For you specifically, this is going to be the thyroid. For a very select few of you who have had, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, this is not a diagnosis, but for some of you that have had problems or issues with this, you may end up going on to have something removed moving forward. And then finally, when it comes to the home and environment, that Six of Pentacles, there's something here about reforging a new deal. All right, whatever that means to you, around the home, around the contract, around the home. If you're renting, a landlord could be selling. If you own your own home, this could be where you're remortgaging. If you know, all of the things, but there's some kind of change coming in around the home sector over the course of this week. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.